Hey everyone, it's me, Leo, and yes, today is going to be a very different video. Yes, once again, you'll hear my voice. And today we are going to do a tier list, but not any tier list. This is all about the most fun killers in DBD tier list. So, without further ado, let's get started. First of all, the great boy here, the icon of this game is here, Trapper. I'll put Trapper on the S tier because I really enjoy Trapper. Even though he is the worst killer in the game by far, he's very weak, I really enjoy him, you know? Like, there's something about getting people on the bear traps that it is very satisfying, you know? Especially when you put traps in a very nice area, you know? When survivors don't really see it. So sometimes most of the times he's really weak, you know? Especially when you have someone that is dedicated to disarmor traps. Yeah, he can be very frustrating to play as, but especially when you are able to put someone in the basement, he's very fun, you know. So yeah, Trapper on the S tier. The other killer is Wraith. Wraith I would put on B. For me, what I like on Wraith is that he's very versatile, you know. He has a lot of play styles. Usually for me, I use the hit and run. I found very nice because he's really good on ambush survivors, and he's really nice to put sloppy butcher on him to put a lot of pressure on the survivors. So B for me. He's not like super exciting, but he's not boring, you know. The other killer is the Hillbilly. S tier. If you were the 2023 Hillbilly, yes, I would say that he would be on the T tier because he used to be terrible. Actually, when he first came out, he was really fun. However, they put the overheat mechanic on him that basically destroyed this killer, and he was one of the worst killers in the game by far. Now they revert that and now he's not only better again, I would argue that he is better than his version. And he's not just better, but he's also balanced. So he is good, fun, and balanced, which is something very difficult in a killer in this game. The other killer is Nurse. Nurse, this is a hot topic, very controversial. She's the strongest killer in the game, but I don't really like her, you know, I don't find her very fun. Next on our list is Michael Myers. That's a bit tricky to put. I would put on the C tier because he's an important killer for this game. His whole chapter was important because he was the first license. And there's a lot of play styles that you can play as Michael Myers, so this is very nice. Although the killer itself is very outdated, you know, his mechanic, because he's a very old killer, it's still enjoyable to play as him. Of course, it's difficult to put him on this tier list because there's a lot of different Michael Myers, you know. So the add-ons of Michael Myers add-ons change him a lot. Of all killers in this game, Michael Myers is the one changed by his add-ons the most. You have the Tombstone Michael Myers, the Scratch Mirror Michael Myers, the average, you know, Michael Myers, the regular one, the rabbit add-on. So he's very different. But we will put all those Michael Myers on the same umbrella and put them on the C tier. The other killer is Hag. Hag, for now, I will put her on the A tier. I really enjoy Hag because she's like a stronger version of Trapper, and of course the main difference is that she can teleport on her traps when they're triggered, and it is just like Trapper, it is satisfying getting those survivors, you know. And the thing about Hag is that you feel like you're the ultimate strategist. However, she's on the A tier because I don't think that she's as satisfying to play as Trapper. And okay, Trapper, there's a lot of bias here because Trapper is the first killer in this game and I really enjoy him. I don't know exactly why I enjoy Trapper so much, but I just do, you know, and not as much as Hag. And also, when there's one survivor dedicated to destroy your trap, can be very... I will demote him. Trapper will be demoted here with Hag. Because if a survivor friends assign one specific survivor to disarm your traps, both as Trapper and Hag, he'll basically make you powerless. This is why these two killers, both Hag and Trap, are on the A tier. The other killer here is Doctor. I will put here on the B tier mainly because I really like to shock survivors. There's not really, that's it, you know. They use the impossible skill check on him, and just he being a pain in the ass for the survivors as doctor. It is very fun, you know. I know this is a crime. I am a cruel person and I should be arrested for my crimes. I am sorry, okay? I am sorry. But I just enjoy. Yes, and I'm not a good person, and I probably go to hell. I understand. Yes, forgive me, please. The other killer is Huntress, and just like I will put her on the S tier here. I'm not sure. So, A tier, A tier. Just like the hillbilly, she's balanced, strong and fun, you know. So, and she's simple as well. It's just throw hatchets. There's not much. It's not difficult to understand her. And for this reason, she is A tier, you know. A well throw hatch. It is really good to hit survivors with the hatchet, especially when there are snipes, you know, long distance ones. So yeah, she's fun, simple and fun. Bubba, here, Leatherface. Leatherface is the type of killer that you can just turn off your brain and play it, you know. You just slap Bamboozle on the build and that's it. You have a simple time. Of course, he's not as strong as the other killers, so that's that. This is why he is on the B tier. Of course, you can use Insidious on him and camp survivors, but that's not very nice and you most likely will be arrested if you do that, so I do not recommend it. This one here, Freddy. Oh yeah, that's... I will put here... he's on the D tier here because he's boring, you know. He's not like infuriating, as there'll be some killers on this part here on the D tier that are just infuriating to play as, but it's not in his case. He's just boring, you know. The dream snares are okay-ish, the dream palettes are just terrible, and he is not Robert Englund, you know? He's not the original Freddy. So yeah, he doesn't have the charisma of the original Freddy. So yeah, he's just a Freddy from Wish, you know, from the remakes. And the remakes are okay as well, but again, it's not the original Freddy. So yeah, and for me, the gameplay and the killer personality adds a lot, you know. And Freddy doesn't have a lot of personality, so yeah, he's on the tier. Amanda Young, aka the Pig. I'll put her on the B tier because she used to be on the C tier, but she is stronger now. So, and although this is a fun tier list, like me or not, stronger killers tend to be more fun. Not always the case, as you see with Nurse. For me, the Nurse is not very fun, but she is very strong. So the thing about Amanda, or Pig, is that she's good at chase, especially now with her buff. The reason why she's here is because the head pops. It's very fun to explode survivor's head. There's not much to it. I really like the killing survivor with the reverse bear trap. The other killer might be a very controversial one because he has a big fan base, and that is the Clown. I don't really found Clown very fun, although he's a good killer. You can play around the loops very nice with him, using the both bodies, the pink and the yellow, the purple actually. But I don't know, I just don't like his gameplay. For me, it's kind of boring, and that's that. The other killer is Spirit. I don't find her very fun. She used to be more fun, but she suffers from the broken fun paradox or broken fun dilemma. What is this dilemma? Is that there were killers in this game. There were killers in this game that they were very broken, broken like really unfair, and because they were unfair for the survivors, like for the survivors POV was the matches with those killers were horrible, just unplayable. But on the killer POV, just very fun, fantastic, sunshine and rainbows. And Spirit used to be a very fun killer because she was really broken. I would argue that she was better than Nurse, you know, because basically because her phasing didn't have a sound. So you could do a lot of stuff, you know, you could do like a lot of strategies. She didn't have many counterplay because, for example, because she didn't have the phasing sound, you could, for example, be doing a jam and she could just appear from nowhere and grab you, you know, so there's not much you could do. Since then they rework her and make her more balanced. That was a very necessary nerf because she was really unfun to play against, but on the other hand, made her not as fun to play as. But yes, it was a necessary nerf, so this is why it's a big dilemma, you know. The other killer here is Legion. Legion is, well, I would say S tier. I don't know why, but yeah, I found him very enjoyable, you know. There's something about stabbing survivors repeatedly that is just fun, you know. I don't know, especially when you're also able to get the 5th hit. Plague. I would put her on the D tier. She's like she's the noob stomper, you know, like survivors that don't know how to play against her will suck. They will destroy very easily, and most of the times the survivors are noobs, you know. Because she's not very simple killer, so it's different from, you know, prepper. For a beginner, it is quite difficult, you know. Survivors especially the ones at the beginning of the game, they don't really know how to counter her, and they will try to heal themselves a lot, and that will help you a lot as Plague. So against very inexperienced survivors, Plague is fantastic, is very fun. However, playing against experienced survivors, survivors that are not afraid to get injured and that understand that they need to be injured, that is more effective, it is very difficult because you basically won't have much power. And of course will be one health state, but if they're really good loopers, you'll be basically a M1 killer. So yeah, it might not be very fun to play against well coordinated survivors. Ghostface here, I will put on the S tier. I'll put her on the I'll put him on the A tier because he is like very fun. I really enjoyed playing as him. The stealth and the stalk mechanic make you feel like you are a total psycho, you know, a stalker. But he's a killer that playing against survivor friends, oh my god, there's a big difference playing against solo queue and survivor friends. Survivor friends, especially the well coordinated ones, they can dedicate one person to remove you from the night shroud. So you will basically have no power. You'll basically be a M1 killer, which can be very frustrating to deal with. So that's why I would put Ghostface on the A tier as in the fun tier list. Demo, I really love Demo. For me, it was one of my favorite killer in this game because he's balanced and he's fun and he is cute. By far, he's the cutest killer in the game. And I really like Stranger Things, but also the fact that I guess he was the first monster killer in the game. So I really enjoy monsters. Really, actually, the main reason why he is fun for me because his gameplay is good and also because he's a monster. So I really enjoy him. And of course, there is Stranger Things. But I would say that the fact that he's a monster is the main factor why I like him so much. Oni Kazan Yamaoka. I would put here, he's very fun. He is really nice to put pressure on survivors, and he really punishes survivors that don't kill. And his gameplay is very simple, and hitting survivors with the Zanabo, I'm not sure if that's the pronunciation. Running around like a maniac as well, screaming like a chimpanzee with rabies, very fun as well. So yeah, I would put here on the A tier. Deathlinger as well. I would put him on the C tier. For now. As we put more killers here, we'll be changing the tier list. But for now, I would say he's on the C tier. I play on controller, so yeah, I'm a console gamer. So yeah, that's make playing him more difficult. He used to be stronger and very popular because he was one of the best killers on the 1v1 because it was very impressive on the 1v1. The quick scope, for example, the quick scope by itself was the main thing that was pain in the ass for the survivors. But since then they changed him and make him more like balanced. But in the survivors POV, more fun to play against, but because you have a more reaction time. But on the killer POV, not as fun, you know. So yeah, people really don't like him very much nowadays, and me included, but it still can be fun at times. And of course, the nerf was necessary again, but just like Spirit, he has the broken fun dilemma. So this is why he's on the C tier. Pyramid Head, this will be very sad and controversial, but I really don't like Pyramid Head that much. Like, he's fun, but I don't know, I don't like, it's all about comparison, you know. I do have more fun playing as other killers than playing as him. And of course there's the fact that my MMR with him is high, so survivors of that I face are very nice. And of course, just like with Nurse, you can say that it's a skill issue of mine, and that's it. But that doesn't change the fact that I found him very boring, you know. And it's very hard to say this because I really like Silent Hill, even though I never played the games, because well, he's a pussy. Even though I never played the games, I still have a lot of respect for him and for the franchise. But yeah, I will put him on the D tier. Next is Blight. I'll put Blight right here. His skill ceiling is very big, and what I like about him, as you get more experience, he gets more fun to play at, you know. Like your first match as Blight might be horrible and you might hate the killer, but if you give him a chance, he will see that he's very special and very fun, you know. You can make a lot of fun plays with him, and he's very he has a bit of RNG, you know. Indoor maps are horrible for him, only the indoor maps, you know. For me, Larry's is the worst map for him, but RPG is also very horrible as well. But the other maps are very nice. You only need to understand how his collision works, because some objects will slide and others will be able to bounce. That's actually the only thing that you need to understand. Once you understand that, you see that he's a very reliable killer and very fun. And also it's very fun to run around like a crackhead. Next is Twins. Twins were very terrible. They used to be on the D tier. They weren't fun at all, but since they rework, I think that actually this is a very complicated thing, because there was supposed to be a full rework on them, but it didn't work. Things didn't work out. It was terrible, and this really left us with a sour taste in our mouth. But even the tiny buffs that they were able to go to the live games, for me they were enough to make the Twins at least a little bit more enjoyable, you know. The buff on the transition made them much more smoother. The effect alone made the killer much more fun and enjoyable. So this is why they are on the C tier. Trickster, I would put him, it's difficult, but I would put him right here. For me, Trickster is a very controversial killer. For many years, he was the most boring, you know, design-wise. Before, of course, our great lady here, Adriana, came up and became the most infamous killer in the game. But before her, Trickster was this very hated killer because of his power and design. But since then he got some buffs and some changes that make him more enjoyable. But then they changed him again, and now he's more like, I don't know, it's just meh. I don't know, I don't really like it. I don't totally hate it, but I just don't like him very much. And also for me, designs and killer personality does help a lot when you're playing as him, because I really enjoy the designs of the killers. And when a killer like Trickster, or for example Adriana, is not very well designed, like I'm not even saying the power design, but the design itself, the appearance, when the killer doesn't have a nice appearance, for me this kinda, you know, helps to make the killer less fun, you know. So his design, like, we have a personification of James Sunderland punishment, you know, a psychopath clown, a fucking dream demon, you know, a fucking Oreo, a monster from another dimension. Then you have a K-pop artist, you know. It's like, it's not very appealing for me. And his gameplay is basically a Huntress from Wish, so I don't know, I don't really like him very much. That's that. I know that he has a cult following, but for me he's just, nah. Next on our list is Nemesis. I love Resident Evil and I love Nemesis. I don't really have a main, but if I were to pick my main, that would be Nemesis, because I really like Nemesis and really like Resident Evil. The zombies are as well, they're very good. So the most of the time they're useless, but by any means they are the most useless bot in this game. There's the killer that we'll talk about later, that has even dumber bots. And the zombies, when you put in, the zombies are sometimes useful. Of course there's a lot of RNG, depends a lot on the map as well. You might be stuck in some random stuff, but I really like the zombies because of the moral support, you know. Every Nemesis players named their zombies, and my zombies are named Jake and Jacqueline. This is how I call them, because we have a special bond, you know. And this is all about bonding. For you to get good matches as Nemesis, you need to be able to bond with your zombies, you know. They are your bros, and this is what you need to understand. And the tentacle as well is very versatile, very nice to destroy pallets, and pallets are the most obnoxious thing in this game, so being able to get rid of them very easily is very nice. Of course you will need a lot of slowdown, because the level 1 Nemesis is very bad, but the level 2 is good, you know. It's when you start to actually have fun with him. Next killer is Pinhead. Pinhead, I would say, is right here, B-tier. It's very fun. Used to be able to use Franklin on him, and that was very fun, because Pinhead with Harder and Franklin's it was obnoxious, you know, very horrible. Because secret for getting good matches with, getting 4K with Pinhead is that you need to be able to get as many chain hunts as possible, you know. So chain hunts, if you don't know, there's a timer, a little timer that you can see on the survivor icon, and when this timer hits 0, the survivors will be harassed by, I don't know, a lot of chains, you know, which will make their actions impossible. So healing, saving, making gems, cleansing all totems. So you basically can do nothing when you are on chain hunt, and chasing survivors is much easier, and that's why it's very important for the survivors to solve the lament configuration. And that's why as well it's important for the Pinhead to be able to intercept the box, and Franklin's was just evil, man, evil. But of course they changed this, and now the Franklin's not only don't work with Pinhead, but also kinda nerf him, because when they used Franklin's in a survivor that's carrying the element configuration, the timer of the chain hunts kinda reset, you know, so you kinda nerf the Pinhead, so never use this perk with it. But he's still very fun. You can use perks like any perks that allow you to read the aura of the survivors, like the barbecue and chili, because every time the box will spawn furthest away from the survivors and the killer. So if you are able to see the aura of all 4 survivors, you can guess where the box will spawn, or at least its surroundings, you know, which makes locating the box easier. So, and when you do that, you feel like Sherlock Holmes, and it's very satisfying. One of the most satisfying things in this game is finding the box. That's Pinhead. Next on our list, it is Artist. I will put her for now right here. She has a great antelope, and for me is enough, you know. Great antelope. She can pressure survivors as well, which is very fun. But that's it. It's very simple killer. Onryo, I would put her right here. The second version of Onryo was very fun for me. She was like, you could just spam the power, the teleportation, and condemn survivors very easily. You might say that there was no skill on this playstyle. No, yeah, they totally agree. There's no skill on this playstyle, but it is very fun, you know. And that's it. Sometimes you don't want to actually have You don't want to play a killer for his strategy or how he's like, you just want, sometimes you just want to kill survivors in the easiest way possible, you know, you just want to have fun, and Sadako used to have that. Nowadays she's a bit weird, you know, because the condemn now works locally, like on 60 meters, you know, of the teleportation on the TV, just like used to be on the first version. And yeah, she's okay. She still can put some pressure on the survivors, but is alright, I would say. Next on our list, it is Dredge. Dredge, I would put him on right here. He's good, he's a fun killer, but the RNG for me is the most problematic thing about him. Like, he has a good anti-loop, good design, the nightfall is very terrifying for the survivors and is very fun. The teleportation is very versatile, but that's it. The teleportation requires the lockers, you know. By experience, Mother's Balance, for example, is very terrible and very difficult to play as him, because there's whole areas that you can't go easily because there's no lockers on it. So yeah, the locker distribution is crucial for your success as Dread. This is why I would put him on B tier, you know. Some maps are just very horrible to play as, some other maps are fun. We also have Wesker here. This is very fun killer. He has all the ingredients to make him fun, like he have mobility, a good design. I really like Resident Evil, as I said, and in the personality as well. He has a good personality, and the fact that you can troll survivors. For example, Ghostface as well, I forgot to mention that one of the reasons that he is on the A tier is that he can teabag survivors. That's very fun. I really love teabag survivors. And on Wesker's side, being able to troll survivors is really so good, you know. You might lose the match, but throwing survivors around is so fun. You can even troll survivors on other survivors. What killer can do that, you know? And also his sassy comments is very nice. Roasting survivors is always good, you know. And this is why he's very high on this list of fun. Well, we have, oh god damn, now things will get very complicated. Jesus Christ, we have Knight. He had new work recently, and I really hate it. Like, old Knight would be on the D tier still, but he would be like somewhere around here, you know, or even here. But now, by far, for me, after the rework, he's the worst killer in this game. And in regards of strength and fun, he's just terrible, you know. You can do nothing with him. Like, you can barely summon the guards. Like, you can 2v1 as him because the timer will go faster when you're closer to your guard, which is like, I don't know why, this is his whole point, you know. They basically butchered the killer. I don't really like him. The only thing that this rework brought that is nice is that you can choose what guard you use, which is fun. But other than that, I just really don't like his changes. He's just not a good killer, you know. So he lost his anti-loop. You can even patrol properly, because when the bot go after the survivors can lose the bots in so many ways. Like, he can even fake with the bot. Like, the bot is very stupid as well. The AI will just do some runner shit. Like, the zombies are fucking Einsteins compared to the guards, because they would do so many stupid shit that it is incredible. Like, he is by far, for me, most killers here on the D tier are boring, but this one I don't like him because I hate it. You know, it's not that he is boring, he is infuriating to play as. Every time I play as him, I feel like I am about to have an aneurysm, you know. So I really hate this killer so much, which is a shame because his design is very nice. Like, he's a fucking medieval knight. I love his design, but his gameplay is just fucking horrible. Down we have another killer, the most beloved killer in this game, Adriana, aka School Merchant. This is very controversial, and I'm sorry for that, but you put her on the B tier. Yes, I find her to be very fun because I don't play as chess merchant. I don't go for the trillion because I might be a degenerate, but even I have standards, you know. And I also have a fucking knife, so I won't be have. Why will play a? I will extend the match for fucking 1 year, you know. Doesn't make any change for me. I have more important things to do. So, and she's the kind of killer that you can just turn off your brain and have fun. Like Survivor is on a loop, you can put the drone and you go to another loop. Some might say that this is a boring strategy, but myself sometimes I just want to turn off my brain, you know. I don't want difficulties, I don't want challenges, I just want easy shit, you know. So if you want a very simple killer and not wanna thinking about strategies or how to play, if you just wanna go around and get easy matches, play as her. She's very nice for that. She's very simple, and this why I like her. That's it. Now another killer that God will work alongside Knight is Singularity. Different from Knight that had a horrible rework, Singularity was the opposite. Had a very awesome rework on a different killer. All Singularity I would put on the D tier was very boring and very underwhelming, but this new Singularity is very nice and very fun. The killer itself is very, I like that he has a good personality, you know. He also has some sassy comments that it's good to put some personality on the killer, that because for me makes him more fun, you know, and more different from the other killers. But his gameplay is now very nice, good anti-loop, good teleport as well, and not much else to say. His rework was very nice and a very welcome change to this game. Next on our list we have the Xenoboy, aka Xenomorph. And this killer here, this fella, is getting a movie, and I really like this killer. I really like Alien franchise. I really like his gameplay. Of course, he isn't perfect, but I think that Behavior did the best they could with the Xenomorph, because it is difficult to translate him to the game, because he has his whole life cycle, his whole lore, which is very complex, so it is difficult to translate to the game. My main issue with him is the nerf that he got on his tail attack. The tail attack on the PTB was quite odd and sluggish, but the first version from the live game was perfect in my opinion. Yes, the crawler mode was OP, and I think, and this is a hot take, I think that it's okay because I like. Jokes aside, the way I see it, the crawler mode needs to be OP, so it forces survivors to use the turret strategically, you know. So you need to put your turrets in good places, you know, like safe pellets for example. So then you can lure the Xenomorph to those turrets and remove him from his power. And even if he destroys the turrets and doesn't get removed from the crawler mode, you'll still be able to make a lot of distance, you know. So it's a win-win situation, and this is why I think that his nerf was very terrible, you know, in my opinion. Of course there's a lot of bias on my side, so I admit it. Next on our list it is Chucky. I would put Chucky here. I really enjoy Chucky because first of all he's Chucky, so of course he's very enjoyable. It's nice to play as him. I guess this is the first game that you can play as him. It is very nice to play as Chucky because there's not many places that you can play as him, so I guess this might be the first place, I guess, or I don't know, one of the first. And he's very fun. He's a very fun killer. He has a good stealth that can confuse survivors. He have a very bad mouth, you know. He really shit on the survivors a lot, which gives him a lot of personality. He flip all the survivors on the ending screen, which is also very fun. And overall his gameplay is very nice. He has some good mobility, just like Wesker, a very sassy personality, just like Wesker, but he doesn't have a slowdown. On the other hand, he has stealth, which Wesker by default doesn't have it, which is something that Chucky has. And also there's the fact that he is a third-person killer, which is at the time of the recording of this video, he's the only killer that has that, which is very nice and making him stand out from the rest. The other killer on their list, it is the unknown. I will put here, right here. Most range killers on this game, they suffer from the problem of being in the shadow of hunters, you know. So, but the unknown doesn't have that. Of all range killers, he's the most different of all, you know. He doesn't feel like he's another hunters from which. And at first I didn't like him very much, but as I started to play more and more with him, he kind of grew on me because he's QVX, I guess is the name. His little thingy, you know, his little thingy is very nice and it's very different from other range killers. You can do certain hits that you can only do with him, some angles that only him can do. Some bouncing mechanic is also very nice. He's a very creepy killer. His teleport is fantastic. I would say he's one of the best teleports in the game. And that's it, I really like him. His lore as well is very nice. He has a lot of personality. The teasers as well was very nice to make this whole to put some personality and mystery around him. Because today we don't really know what the unknown is. You know, if he's an alien, he's a mutant, I don't know, or just a main nurse. So we still don't know what he is, which helps him on the aura, on the personality side of the killer. And as I said, the gameplay as well is very fun. I put this boy here to have more balance here. Oh, let's put the Lich, aka Vecna. I really like Vecna. Good addition to this game. I think that he's very well thought killer, design wise, and he's very versatile. He has good mobility and good tracking, anti-loop, great anti-loop, and the match itself is very different. You know, the survivors will have some wacky powers when they're playing against him, and he has a lot of personality. I really like the mimics. The mimics are very nice, and yeah, I really like him. A very fun killer. He's feel like an Overwatch character, you know. He's very unique in this regard, you know. His whole spell menu is very nice as well. I wish the Knight has this spell menu as well. But I really like him very much. A good addition to the game. And this is why he's on the S tier. And this is my fun tier list. Of course, this is my personal opinion. Everyone has yours. And I hope you have enjoyed this video. Hey everyone, Leo from the future here, and I just want to talk about a little bit about Dracula that just came out. And of course this is the version from the PTB, so he might have some changes in the future. But for now I found him very fun. He's very versatile killer. He can do a lot of things, like turn to a wolf. He can turn to a bat, which by far is the best. I think it's a very nice turn to a bat. He has a Hellfire, some Hell Pillars, I guess is the name, I don't know. This is a little bit like Pyramid Head. He borrows a lot of things from other killers, as just like Vecna. So for example, his Hell Pillars is just like Pyramid Head. The wolf form is a bit like Demogorgon, and the bat is a lot like Spirit. So he's a good killer, and I really like him. And of course he will have some changes on him. But I like him. I don't think they will change him very much. I think that they will change the wolf form, like they will make him more faster. But other than that, I think that this is it. You know, very nice killer. B tier for sure. And I hope you have enjoyed the video. And don't forget to subscribe and comment below your thoughts on the video. And also what for you is the most fun killer in this game. So see you around. Thank you for watching the video.